Hello, my name is Kristyn Taylor and I'm a candidate for Dearborn City Council. I'm here today at Hemlock Park because I want to talk to you about one of the reasons why I chose to run for City Council and why I'm asking for your vote on November 5th. And part of that reason is trust. It all comes down to the city residents being able to trust the city and the decisions that are being made. And the pools are a great example of where I believe we have had a breakdown of communication, which has led to a lack of trust. And I'm asking for your vote on November 5th because I know that I can help solve that. And I'd like to tell you how I've already worked to do that. In 2010, the Dearborn City proposed to close the 6 small pools. And as you know, we have 8 outdoor pools in Dearborn, but 6 of them we call small pools because they're just like Hemlock, nestled in the community that they serve. At that time, the city residents came out in droves and said that that was not acceptable because the city small pools are what make Dearborn so unique. They are an example of the community that makes Dearborn a place that people want to live and raise their kids and retire. So at that time, the proposal was taken off the table. But in 2011, we still had budget issues and we continue to deal with budget and financial restraints today. So in 2011, 2 of the pools were mothballed, and they were not fully closed in that they're not filled with cement, but they were closed to the public, and we all had the hope that one day we may be able to reopen them and have 6 pools serving our neighborhoods again. Since that time, the city created a committee through the Recreation Department that was meant to identify creative ways that the small pools could be kept open. And the Save Our Small Pools group that the residents had formed since 2010 was an integral part of that committee. And I was lucky and proud enough to serve on that committee on behalf of Save Our Pools as a voice for the Dearborn residents. Unfortunately, through that process, the committee came up with the idea of special assessment districts, which Save Our Pools believed would be divisive and would pit one neighborhood against another, and we chose not to move forward in that direction. Since then, there hasn't been movement on the pool issue, and part of that reason, I believe, is because the committee, which was the action that led to having a voice to the city, was dissolved by a vote of the own committee, which meant that the efforts that Save Our Pools had was disjointed with any of the priorities that the city had. And when we can't work together to solve our problems, we aren't getting problems solved. And that's one of the things that I learned through that process, and one of the reasons I chose to run for City Council, because I believe I saw through that experience that when the Dearborn residents, when the voters have expressed their will, the city can't turn its back on that. And if the residents feel like they're being ignored, we have a big problem. And I think that we have an issue which leads to communication breakdown. So whether the priorities are in sync or not, we need to make sure that we're all talking about it and that Dearborn residents are brought to the table so that we can have an actual conversation that isn't led by one person's agenda or the other. These pools are something that are symbolic of what makes Dearborn a great community. And when we as a city are not able to come together and have an honest discussion about what it takes to keep those treasures or make the real effort to come up with creative solutions to move them off the budget if there is a big problem with that, then that means that we as a community can't work together. And that means we will not be as successful as we could be in the future. I want to be on Dearborn City Council because I've put the work in, I've seen that through the Dearborn residents' eyes, and I know that if we have a council that is committed to being the voice of the people and to working with the community to solve these problems, we can be the best Dearborn we can be. So I'm asking for your vote on November 5th because I want to be your next City Council member. Please vote Kristyn Taylor for Dearborn City Council. Thank you.